This is day 472 of Zohar Pshat, and we have fascinating Zohar today. All of those are fascinating, but this one is pretty fascinating, I guess we could say. And we're starting Mamish at the top of Nun Vav on the base, and it's really the first line is a continuation of the Zohar from yesterday. That where it says that the world is supposed to go back to be water and water with a marble. Ubasar Asivle, the first line. Ubasar Asivle the Amakan Mesa V'lo Yischar Mikula. The world went back to what it was originally, but then it wasn't completely destroyed. The Barach Minashki Chalayu. Because Baruch Hu paid attention to the humanity with Rachamim and to the world in general. The Chesiv, it says Hashem Ma'abu Yashov. Hashem held back the flood. Elokim, it does not say Elokim because it was not Midas Adin, it was Midas Arachamim. And Midas Arachamim was held back the flood from being completely destructive, even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu, between cycles of existence, made the world go completely back to water. Here it didn't go completely back to water, start from scratch. There's still elements left, not just the human beings, Noach and his family, or Og, whoever else might have survived, but Eretz Yisrael was not affected by the flood. Whether people died there or not, that's a separate question, but the land itself was not affected by the flood, and of course there was things like the Ali Zayis Taraf Pepia, which the Yonah found. So there were, so it wasn't complete destruction. But now going back to the days of Enosh, even the children's generation, Kulu Hava Mashgachim B'Chachma Soilain. They all knew Chachma Ilah. They know the Chachma and I. And Chachma Ilah sounds like even not just sorcery and witchcraft, like we said before. It'd be in divine wisdom. Like in the days of Chizkiel, Loya Tinok is Midon Var Beersheva, that done Vad Beersheva, that were not Bucky B'Chastum and Tara. In days of Enosh, they're all Bucky in Chachma Ilah. And they looked at it. In other words, it wasn't they had this tremendous penetrating knowledge, even the youngsters of the Sayyidus of the Bria. Amr Abiyasi says, if that's the case, Tipshnav, they were stupid. Made the fun of Yamusimbo. Did they not know because Baruch was going to bring them down the flood? They're going to die in the flood? Amr Abiyasi said, Min the Yade. No, they knew. But they held on to stupidity in their hearts. They knew the Malach was in charge of fire, and that was in charge of water, which of course would combine to create the searing hot water of the flood. They knew that to arrest them. That they wouldn't make a din upon them. They did not know that Kosh Baruch Hu was controlled the earth, the land. You may say din on and from here would come the din on the world. So the Nitzutze Zohar says, "Ayin Nechor Abasi Per Base Haras Bevra." So b'chule Amar Kosh Baruch Hu Shino Shmois Shemalachim. Kosh Baruch changed the names of Malachim. Maskin Shmois Milamata. So the door of the Mabel, they mentioned the names of the Malachim from below. The Lo Yoni land, they wouldn't answer, wouldn't respond. The Malachim didn't respond because their names were changed. That's a fascinating medrash. Why do you have to say that? Kosh Baruch do whatever he wants. If change the names of the Malachim in order to do it. So that requires an answer. Obviously, the answer which we could give is to say, well, that's how Kosh Baruch Hu did it, or to say that Kosh Baruch Hu made rules and he has to. He doesn't change the rules. Not change the names wasn't one of the rules, but that there are names and that the names could be effective was one of the rules. That could spend a long time considering that issue. Why changing the names is okay, but not transcending the names. Because that seems from the same to be what the Medrash is saying. That the rules, because Baruch abides on the rules, but the rules themselves have rules. Now, but there's another Pshat thing here, which is important, which is the Rambam says that Dor Enosh's chait was they started worshiping the intermediaries. They started worshiping the intermediaries. You see, this Zohar is like the Rambam. The Zohar says that they worshipped the intermediaries. They knew how to harness and employ the intermediaries. And the way they understood it, Kav even against Ratzon Hashem, they can employ the intermediaries. Hashem made the rules. Hashem abides by the rules. So therefore, this is mamish what the Rambam says. Okay, how are they so stupid to worship intermediaries? No, they worship intermediaries because they could control the intermediaries. That's what the Zohar is saying. I don't know if the Rambam would take it that far, but that's what the Zohar is saying, that they could control the intermediaries. And therefore, Kodesh Baruch Hu has to abide by the rules. It's very similar to what happened by Midah Bavel. Kodesh Baruch Hu has to switch the languages, because otherwise, unity would have Kaviyachol trumped HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because Hashem made the rules, and unity is the most powerful tool in the world, and it would have been successful what they did if HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not didn't change the language. So here too, HaKadosh Baruch Hu abided by the rules, and they might have had HaKadosh Baruch Hu not had, so to speak, this loophole. So then there would have been successful. But I don't know if you have to come out to Zohar. It could be the symbol of Pshat in the Zohar is without that. Doesn't come from the Malos intermediaries. They don't have that power. It's a mistake. They come from above. They saw that the world was given over to these intermediaries. And all the matters were the control by the intermediaries. Therefore, they didn't look at Baruch Hu but they weren't paying attention to their deeds until the world was destroyed. And the Kodesh was telling them every day, and they warned. Let the Chatoim be eliminated from the land, and there won't be any Rishoim anymore. Stop sinning, so you won't be Rishoim. Okay, so it's a fascinating derech emes on this, which I think we'll leave for tomorrow, because it's a different thought. There's enough important thought for today.